Alright guys, we're back with more of the house in Fata Morgana. I want to tell you guys right now, the witch is making it very difficult for us to get the happy ending we so deserve. But don't worry, we're going to keep on going and see where it goes. And hopefully, Mikkel and Giselle get the ending that they always wanted. So with that said guys, hope you all get to enjoy watching. Let's get to it. Alright everyone, and we are back. Tell me your preferences. What? Wow, how very forward of you. Huh? My taste in men is the last thing I expected you to ask about, Master. I don't recall specifying people. Now, don't fret the details. It's only natural to be curious, so let's make it about that. And that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Alright then, tell me about your first crush, Master. And I have to start? I never had one. What? No, I'm not buying it. You were living at home until 10 years ago, weren't you? Surely there was someone who caught your eye. There was not. Without missing a beat. Well, fine, then I'll go. My first crush was the son of a blacksmith. You missed the part where you ask, what kind of guy was he? This is such a pain. Since you asked, he was a huge muscular fellow. He was so tall he would always hit his head on the doorway whenever he came to our shop to trade. Oh. Nice beefy guys really are great, huh? They make your heart get all fluttery and tight. Are you trying to imply I don't have a chance? Though, I think that was more admiration than love. You know, the way a group of girls will get together and fawn over a popular, good-looking guy. It was like that. So you're saying the buff bastard was popular? Very much so. I wonder what love feels like. I never got the chance to find out, before ending up like this. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get all dark on you. Say whatever is on your mind. I don't deserve your consideration. It was my family that put you through that after all. Perhaps it is my reticence that causes her to watch her step around me. Damn. Need to come up with something to say. When I was 14. Oh? You asked about my first crush. Ah, I knew you had one. So tell me, what was she like? She was the daughter of a noble family. Her name was Amy, and she was a year older than me. Ah, love between nobility. A world I can only even imagine. It never went anywhere. What? You didn't try to woo her? You didn't shower her in presents? Were you by chance a late bloomer, Master? She was my brother's fiancée. Oh, I see. So it was a love that could never be realized. That's sad. Not really. Besides, I don't feel anything for her anymore. And what I felt then was just impulses. I guess that makes us both inexperienced. I suppose it does. Okay, I think that's enough of that. So it is. I got one more. Do you like being here? Of course, I love it here. Being with you, being able to talk with you like this. See, that I don't understand. What? Why not? I find it difficult to believe there exists any reason speaking with me would be anything but unpleasant. You're so negative. Oh, hush. Say that, for example, instead of me, there was someone not so pessimistic here. You would rather be talking to them, wouldn't you? I really do enjoy this, truly. I will admit, my time down in that village was, for the most part, delightful. But, oh, how should I put this? I start realizing, yeah, I'm kind of forcing myself to fit that image. And I'm trying to convince myself that that's okay. But somehow, when I'm here, there's none of that. I wonder why that is. I certainly wouldn't know. I suppose you wouldn't. Ah, I know. Maybe I think of you as a kid now. Come again? I love talking to kids. Well, hey now, don't give me that look. What I'm trying to say is, you're very sincere, Master. You're not going to smile and then stab me in the back when I turn the other way. I can relax around you, which is nice. I see. Ah, you just blushed, didn't you? You're blushing, you adorable little thing. It's alright, you're allowed to fall for me. Is there any window in particular you'd like to be thrown out of? No fun at all. See what I was saying, Master? With just a short conversation, I know you better than I did before, and you me. That's fine and well, but what do I do with that knowledge? Huh? You don't do anything with it. It's fun learning things you didn't know before. That's all there is to it. And what happens when there's nothing left to learn? That's a day I don't think will ever come. People are always changing, growing, so there is no upper limit to what you can know about them. There's always something new to discover. Maybe we'll be here for many more years, or maybe you'll be able to go home sooner than you expect. But either way, I hope we can keep getting to know each other until then. And of course, if you're open to it, it doesn't have to end there. We can continue getting to know each other for years to come. Hey now, what are you looking away for? What do you think? Because you keep throwing me off balance. A few months ago, I was doing everything in my power to avoid her. Yet now that smile of hers seems so oddly enchanting. I don't understand. I will do my best so that we can make this work. I'm glad to hear it. Giselle, I was too awkward back then to even compliment you on your smile, to put my feelings into words. I was too cynical to accept what you said at face value, which I know caused you plenty of grief. I'm not much better now than I was then, but I will tell you this. When I next see you, I want more than anything to let you know how much I adore your smile, and how much I don't want to lose you or it ever again. You must never reclaim your old selves. Become my loyal servants, always at my side. And curse them with me, my dears. Eternal suffering on all their souls. Oh, look at the fireplace. My consciousness, wavering like a ship at sea, is slowly drawn back to the surface. With each new breath, feeling gradually returns to my fingers. I can hear the pattering of rain from somewhere, and the sound of crackling fire. It takes a moment for me to realize I am in the very same spot where I first awoke. I don't know how I got here, but I'm sitting in a rocking chair hunched forward. My head feels like someone filled it with rocks, and I'm having difficulty focusing. My joints are creaking, and I feel like I'm going to vomit. A suffocating odor hangs over the room. What is this? Giselle! Giselle! Everything comes back to me all at once. That's right, I watched Morgana kidnap her. I watched the witch drag her into the darkness, unable to reach her hand. Where are you, Morgana? Gah! I know you're there, cackling as you look down on me. Say something, witch! I will find you, and I will take her back. What on earth? There's a pool of liquid at my feet rising just short of my ankles. It's sticky and uncomfortably warm. Every step I take makes splat splat noises. This is blood. The mansion has taken on a very different face from when Giselle was leading me through its halls. Blood of unknown origin not only covers the floor, but also streams down the walls and drips from the ceiling. I'm speechless as I behold the dreadful scene. Every breath I take tastes and smells of rust. It's also unreal. Beyond my comprehension, all I can do is stare, aghast, feeling like I might pass out. Giselle, are you seeing this? The same twisted nightmare as me? An image of her floating alone in a vast sea of blood flashes through my mind. That vision kicks me into motion. I promise, I will come for you. So please, just hang in there for a little longer. I begin walking, or more accurately, dragging my heavy feet forward. The constant splashing of blood against my ankles grates at my already taut nerves. Morgana told me to find my way to her, and I can think of only one place she would be. She and Giselle must be there. The stained glass window is splattered with blood too. It creates trail-like streams of tears running down the Archangel's face. I give the window a brief glance before making my way to the door leading to the observation tower. However, why won't it open? There shouldn't be a lock. So why? Lustrous black chains seal the metal door. I can recall no such obstruction present during either my life or my time hereafter. What on earth is going on in this house? No, that's not important right now. What matters is making it through this door. Damn it! I pull and I push, but the chains won't give an inch. They feel sturdy enough that I probably couldn't cut through them either. There has to be some way. I consider giving up here and scouring the rest of the house, but I'm convinced the tower is my best chance. The fact that it's sealed now when it hadn't been before feels like a challenge more than a deterrent. I trace a length of chain with my hand, and at the end of it I find a peculiar looking lock into which the ends of the several chains have been fed. There are 3 keyholes? Morgana fashioned a custom lock just for this? I need to find 3 keys to open the door, then... See, this reminds me of the time when Morgana threw one of the keys into a painting. There was a key. Oh no, that was the key to the master bedroom though. So, maybe she threw more keys away or hid them? But I have no idea where to begin my search. I lived here for more than 10 years and yet it feels like I've stepped into a strange land. No, it's not the same house. Searching blindly is only going to waste time. And the longer I take, the more danger she's in. I met someone before who had a key. It was before I had reclaimed myself, when I was exploring the mansion alone. Think, Mikkel, who was it? No, I'm glad he brought it up because I remember. It's the painting. The painting. There you go. Look at all that blood though, jeez. Like everything else in the house, the painting is covered in blood. That it depicts a serene rural landscape only makes the contrast that much grimmer. I remember talking to this painting, assuming I wasn't hallucinating. I have a question for you. Are you awake? Please, wake up. Ah. Can you hear my voice? Please, say something. Yeah. You reside here in the house like the witch, don't you? You've been here with her all this time, haven't you? Then you must know how to get into the observation tower. About the 3 keys that I need to open the lock. I need to get into the tower. Please tell me where I can find the keys. Say something, damn it! Answer my question! Ah. Is someone there? What's the matter? I feel kind of strange. the rich do something to me. Please get a hold of yourself. Everything's all red. I can't stand it. I don't remember using that color. Nah. I reach my hand up to try and wipe as much of the blood off the canvas as possible, but I can't even smear it with my sleeve, let alone get it off. You're wasting your time, but it's the thought that counts. You had a question for me. Go on. I'm listening. I asked you the question. You didn't hear me? I guess the painting isn't on the witch's side then? The door to the observation tower has been locked. I need to gather 3 keys, I think. That's my assumption since the lock has 3 keyholes. Do you know any of such keys? And if so, could you tell me where they might be? Keys? Keys? Please, stay with me. You're the only one I can ask for help. Ah, yeah, he's losing his mind right now. I'm guessing this is probably in some way connected to her past. Her past? You know the events the witch is always cursing about. What happened between her and those 3 men? What? What happened between them? The keys probably with the 3 of them. Their shadows. You must have seen them. Forgive me, guys. I don't know if I'm doing that right. Maybe because in my head it sounds like a descrambler or, you know, static or what have you. But can only do so much. 3 men, shadows. Find them. Or a computer malfunction. Actually, it could be a variety actually of how it sounds in my head. And you'll probably find the keys too. But watch yourself. They aren't likely to trust you easily. Well, at least this painting trusts me pretty easily. The depth of their sins grows greater the farther you go. Visit them in order. Alright, let me get this one right now. The first one probably won't be a problem. So tell me something. You're Mikkel, aren't you? What? I've wanted to apologize to you for so long. Oh, I got cut off. Wait. What do you mean? Do you know me? Did you? What do you want to apologize for? Tell me, please. You know, it would not surprise me if that painting, or the man in the painting, was Mikkel's brother. I feel like that could be the case. That's my theory anyway. Could you be... But why? How? When everything else is finished, I'm gonna need to visit this painting again. But now, I have other things to do. The painting gave me a hint about where I could find the keys. I don't know anything about this past Morgana has with the 3 men. I never asked her about herself after all. So maybe I'm going to end up having to do more than simply take Giselle back. Has our involvement with the witch caused us to be swept up in her twisted maelstrom of fate? Regardless, I need to get to work. The painting said to visit them in order. I assume he was referring to the order I entered the 3 doors. Ah, crap. I'm going to see if I can remember this. Alright guys, so I'm to believe that we have to go from bottom up, because if he wants to go in order in which the stories were told to us, then we go with the we go with what's their name? The two siblings, Mel and Nellie. And Mel and Nellie were outside in the rose garden. The second story takes place in the cellar because that's about Tsukimasa or Yukimasa. It's about Yukimasa and how he became the beast. And I'm assuming the den is where Jacopo was. So we'll try it. I make my way to the rose garden. The corridor leading there is a mess, and the wooden door is rotting away. I can smell the flowers on the other side. Everything is different from when I was alive, from when Giselle planted and raised that single rose. A scene from the past spreads out before me. The field of once proudly flourishing roses is now withered and gray. Knowing how beautiful it had once been only makes it that much more dispiriting. A bitter breeze brushes past me. Solitude hangs over the garden like a thick fog eating away at me. This isn't what I wanted. Someone get me out of here. Oh God, tell me, it's not all my fault. A young man's shadow stands off to the side, muttering listlessly to himself. I recognize his voice. Do you have the key? The boy and I have never met, but I feel like I know him quite well, like we have been acquainted for many years. I know how polite and mild-mannered he is. I know how kind and how vulnerable, how human his heart is. However, very little of that boy seems to remain. This isn't what I wanted. Oh God. Please, answer me. Someone get me out of here. Tell me, it's not all my fault. Answer me, Mel Rhodes. I know that's you. Huh? As soon as I say the shadow's name, it turns to face me. I still can't make out much detail, but he seems slightly less tenuous now. Who are you? How do you know my name? My name is Mikkel. I once lived here in this mansion. Michelle. Oh, so that's how you do pronounce it. I've been calling him Mikkel this whole time, but also, during the times when we were learning about the white-haired girl's real name, I've been calling her Michelle just to differentiate the two characters. But now that I know the actual pronunciation is Michelle, I'm probably still gonna call him Mikkel just because I've been calling him that the whole time. So I know that name. I know it very well. But something's not right. You look different from the Michelle I remember. I am not the Michelle you know. Our names simply sound the same. Oh, that makes sense. She would never come see me. I have a question for you. Do you have the key to the observation tower? I do. Would you please give it to me? I need to get into the tower. And what do you need there? There's someone there I need to find. That's all? It may not sound like much to you, but it means a great deal to me. You're not one of her prisoners then? No. I came here of my own will. To find this person? Exactly. Then maybe you can help me. Help you how? Set me free. Convince her to release me from this place. I'm begging you. The anguish emanating from the boy's shadow is so thick it causes me to recoil. There's a thread of dark desperation in his voice. Has he been imprisoned here for hundreds of years like Giselle? Promise me, you'll get me out of here. Am I even equipped to judge whether that would be a good decision or not? All I know of him is his time in the mansion during the era of roses. I know nothing else of his life. I don't even know if I would be capable of keeping such a promise. Do I have the strength to save anyone other than her? Do you absolutely need the key? You won't agree to help me without it, will you? What? I dropped it. Over there. Huh? The boy's pointing to a thick bramble of roses. Despite the flowers themselves being wilted, the thorns are still sharp. It was an accident, I swear. But I didn't want to scratch up my arm, so I left it there. It's not my fault. There's so many thorns. I know, right? I really want to hit this boy. Why couldn't you have just said so? Because I thought if I didn't have the key, that you wouldn't help me. There's only so much I can do, regardless of whether you have the key. I cannot promise you anything, nor can I be the judge of you. I see. I do not have enough information to make such a decision. Cheap promises and superficial kindness will only serve to destroy the both of us. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to retrieve the key. What? You'll never get it out of those thorns. I don't care if it's at the bottom of the ocean, I will have that key. You're wasting your time. I approach the bramble, reaching out for it with my right hand. From behind me, I can sense the boy watching. First, I attempt to spread the tangled thorn-ridden stems so I can put my arm in without injuring myself. But they seem to be made of iron rather than plant, and my efforts prove mostly fruitless. The only opening is barely large enough to fit an arm in and resembles the 2D mouth of a beast. Looking around the garden, I can't find anything that looks remotely useful. I guess my only option is reaching in. That's not going to stop me. I lean down, inserting my right arm into the thorny cavern. Immediately, they begin ripping at my sleeve and gashing at my flesh. Blood spills down my arm. I'm long since dead, no longer human, but the pain is still agonizing, still very much real. Giselle, she doesn't bleed. She doesn't feel pain. Am I not the same as her then? That doesn't matter right now. Focus on getting the damn key. Streams of crimson spread through the steel like tangle gnawing at my arm like a ravenous animal. Where the hell is the key? The thorny stems are twisted and layered so thick I can't see inside at all. As I dig around blindly, I start losing feeling in my arm. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Mel had the key all along and just said it was in the thorny bush just to, get me to promise him that I'd save him. It's an endless deluge of pain. Hey, cut it out. You're going to lose your arm. I will not stop until I have the key. Don't ask me for help. I wasn't even considering it. I collect what remains of my gradually fading sensation and focus into my fingers, praying even one of them will brush against the key. Damn it! But as much as I search, as much as I dig, I find nothing so much as resembling a key, which means I must be deeper than I can reach my arm, sorry. Even so, I cannot give up. Hey, please be quiet right now. I need to focus. I'm sorry, I do have the key actually. I knew it! You bum! I really do want to hit you, kid. You what? I'm sorry. It didn't look like you were willing to help even if I gave it to you, so. Plus, she told me not to give it to anyone for any reason. Hold still so I can beat you. I didn't mean you any ill will. You most certainly did. I'll give you the key, so please have mercy. Trembling in fear, the boy's shadow sticks out a hand holding the key. The arm I used to dig through the thorns is so bloody and gashed, I can barely look at it, but it does still function. And so I take the key from him with my right hand. Alright, 1 of 3. Let's go. Why couldn't you use your other hand? That's gross. That's the idea. You're kind of a jerk, you know. That's a laugh coming from you. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? I know. I'm sorry, really. But hey, you're alive, so no big deal, right? But wait, can you actually say either of us are alive? I don't even know anymore. I do appreciate you giving me the key, though, seeing as it seemed to be rather important to you, too. Hey, is this person you want to get back really worth going through all this for? She is. She's the one person who ever loved me, and she's waiting for me. I see. You know, I had someone that meant a lot to me, too. My sister. Which one? Which? The one with the flaxen hair like me? If you happen to see her, do something nice for her, please. That, I would say, is your responsibility. Yeah, you're right. But I'll keep it in mind. Thanks. In the tale I witnessed, the boy pushed his sister away, for an understandable reason, admittedly. But now, he seems to bear no grudge for her. Did something else happen between them? Even if it did, I don't have time to ask about it. I'll be on my way. Alright, take care. There are 2 more keys. Watch out though. They're not the most friendly people. And they'll probably be even more enraged locked up like this. I appreciate the warning. If only someone like you had shown up sooner and taken the keys from us. Goodbye. After bidding me farewell, the boy's phantom dissipates into the shadows of the rose garden. I wonder if he's gone back to mindlessly muttering his regrets. I should get going. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, I'm going to get the rest of these 2 keys. And hopefully we can get to Giselle before the witch causes any more problems for us.